Wow, it's been working so fast today. So hello, welcome to our Monday live meditation for December the 5th. And thank you very much for being here and for your commitment to your practice in what can be a busier month. And I know it's easy to get kind of thrown off and caught up and also just tired, right, at this time of year when there's more going on. So it's good to have you here still. I'm going to give a little bit of a teaching talk about our relationship to the earth. This is a little bit in response to your question, Anne-Marie, because I think what we're doing here is so much different than Kundalini Rising, as far as I understand Kundalini Rising, that I wanted to address what it is what we're doing. And also because Earth descent has been coming up. I kind of was thinking about what am I going to talk about today? And to be honest, I was a little bit freaking out about it this morning, not like totally freaking out, but I had a bit of an edge around it because this part of somatic meditation, it's a little bit edgy, and it's been coming up in people's practices a lot. Like it's something that people have been commenting on it, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to go there. So I thought, okay, yeah, I think so many people mentioned it this week in their comments, and I even noticed that I acknowledged that in my comments back, and then people have been talking about it too in response to the meditation. And so I thought, well, I think it's time to address it in a way that, in a similar way that we talk about what's unfolding in our bodies, to give you a map of what's possible, where we're going. So let me just pull up my notes a little bit so I stay on track and I don't ramble too much. So as with everything else I speak about, I really want to normalize this experience of people talking about the connection with the earth, feeling like they're dropping into the earth, feeling like they're sinking into the earth. And I also want to underline that each one of us has our own unique experience, our unique unfolding, and that's going to happen in its own time. So that this is not something we need to rush towards headlong, or something that we need to try to take a left turn or a right turn towards in our practice, but it's something that will unfold rather organically in its own time in your own body. So one of the things that you may have noticed happening in your own practice of somatic meditation is that your body is actually not as solid as you might have thought it was, that, this physical body, when you meditate, when you do this somatic practice of letting go of tension in your body, you start to notice an openness in the earth underneath you. And there are times when you practice this meditation that as you let go and release tension into the earth underneath you, and you follow that tension down into the ground, that you may have noticed that you open your awareness to the layers of the earth underneath you beyond your personal and physical body. And you notice that your awareness extends below the surface of the ground that you're lying on. And as I've said, many of you have spoken about this after meditation, and many of you have written about this on the forum as well. And again, I just want to address that this isn't something that you need to seek after, but just with everything else, to be present to your own experience as it unfolds. So just in the same way that when we come to our mat, we're not trying to seek some kind of healing experience. Like if we have a lot of pain in our shoulders, we're not coming to the mat to try to address that and heal that in some way. Or if we have some kind of trauma, we're not coming and we're like, okay, today on my mat, I'm going to heal this trauma. It's not like that, right? And then the same thing with dropping into the earth. It's not like we're going to chase that kind of experience. To trust your own body always. So I'm choosing to teach about this today to give it some kind of ground, some kind of framework for the people that are experiencing it. And I feel like it's been coming up too often to leave it unaddressed. So initially, when you let go of tension in the earth, you will stay with these kind of familiar concepts of the earth underneath you, the kind of cutaway diagram that you learn in science class of the earth's interior, from the ground that you walk on, the dirt, the crust, the mantle, the liquid core, and the solid core. And this same kind of scientific, objective way of knowing the earth that we have as the same kind of scientific, objective way of knowing our body, that where we separate from our experience, and we follow our awareness down and into the earth with this kind of conceptual thinking and labeling, crust, mantle, liquid core, solid core. And we do this with our body, the way we label our body, skin, bone, muscles, veins, blood. But we know from doing this meditation that there's something more, right? We experience sensation. There's a subtle body that's happening. And the same thing happens in our meditation. When our awareness drops into the earth, what we actually find is not this kind of like layered cutaway experience of the earth, but what we find is wide open space. And this kind of opening into wide open space is very gradual. It could be very expansive too. And when you open into this wide open space, it can be quite disorienting as you get used to it. And you can kind of keep popping back up to the surface of your body as you become accustomed to the vastness of the space beneath you and all around you as you open to it. So I want to remind you that just like when you meditate with the body, your ego can be kind of tricky with this. And this is the importance of being where you are with your practice, because striving can create new layers of tension in your body. And what we're doing with our body is letting go of the tension, releasing into the earth, and opening up to the earth in a really natural and organic way. So I'm offering you some guideposts on the way, kind of a roadmap of what happens when you're opening to the spaciousness. So as you drop more and more into the spaciousness, deeper and deeper and more open, and this may happen on its own as it has been, but also there are meditations exactly for this. So there are 6 specific meditations for it. And what you'll find is underneath the depths and the openness, there is a feeling tone to this space. And the way Reggie Ray explains it, and the way you may have experienced it too, is that the wide open space has a certain quality to it, that it's inviting, it's warm, it has a feeling of peace and equanimity, and it's quite grounding. And the more open we become to the spaciousness, the more grounded we become. And it's kind of like this oxymoron, really, right? We're in this spaciousness, we're in this vastness, and yet we become really grounded. We find that the earth is unconditionally open, spacious, and accommodating. And then there's this feeling tone of peace, warmth, and equanimity. And there, at a certain point in opening and dropping, there's there's a sense of longing, a sense of urgency and embodied in your body to connect with this feeling tone, the kind of longing, as if you're being called back to something that you've been missing. And as you follow this longing to its source, you find that sense of peace and contentment and a sense of being met too. And through these practices, there's processes of meeting this as well. And this is just like when you go into your big toe, you go into the tension, you bring the tension forward, and then the tension dissolves. The way that's a process of returning to wholeness. This dropping, opening, connecting with that feeling tone, this is the returning to wholeness as well. It's we're connecting with the depth and spaciousness of the earth. And we're discovering the vastness and depth of our own true selves, our own true nature. So this can be quite trippy for our ego, because there's a lot of letting go that has to happen for this level of openness to happen. And that's why there can be a lot of resistance to this practice, a lot of bouncing back up into our bodies and coming back up to the surface, which is completely normal too. But we are connecting with the vastness, the openness, the depths of all that is, the origins from which all life is emerging, interconnection of all that is, and the truth of our true nature. And so that is what we are doing here. And I think it is quite different from, and that's why I think it's somewhat related to the question that you had, Anne-Marie, is because it's quite different, this opening, dropping, this grounding, this way of, this lineage of connecting with our true nature is quite different from other lineages and paths which teach like this kind of ascension model. But from my understanding, which is quite different, which is very much like up and out. Mm-hmm. So that's a kind of context that I wanted to give you guys tonight in relation to your experience, but also a kind of context to where we're going, and a bit of a context to Anne-Marie's question, I think, too. So I'm open to answering any questions or comments that you might have about this as well right now. And there might not be any questions or comments. That's fine too. We can go right into practice. Okay, practice then. Okay. All right, let's go right into practice then. So go ahead and lie down on your backs with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, your feet are a comfortable distance from your buttocks so that your low back and your pelvis can completely relax. Check in with the comfort of your neck too. You may want to place something underneath the back of your head if that will make your neck more comfortable. And as you rest down on the ground now, just begin to notice the way your body starts to relax and responds to the support of the earth underneath you. So feel the points of contact with the ground, your feet, your pelvis, your low back, at the base of your ribs. So that would be your mid-back, your shoulders, your elbows, and your head. And notice how these points of contact on the ground are starting to release and let go, to be received by the earth. That just by lying on the earth, you begin to settle into it a little bit more. And then place your attention in your feet. And bring your attention right into your big toes. Feeling your attention in your big toes. Feeling the tightness and tension in your big toes, on the underside of your big toes, your big toenails. The sides of your big toes. And allow the tension to come forward. And notice as the tension comes forward in your big toe that that tension begins to transform. And you can follow that tension as it begins to dissolve and let go into the ground into the earth underneath you. You may notice as your big toe begins to let go that you begin to let go in other parts of your body as well. And you can allow that tension begin to unravel in other parts of your body. And then tune into your second toe. Feeling the tension in your second toe, the tightness in the bones, the skin, the nail, where your second toe connects to your foot. Allowing that tension to come forward. And then feeling how the tension in your second toe begins to let go and release downwards into the ground. You may feel some tension releasing and letting go in other parts of your foot as well. And then moving on to your third toe, feeling the tightness, feeling the tension, feeling the holding on. And then feeling the tension in your third toes beginning to release and lengthen, let go into the earth beneath you. And know when your mind wanders, that's not a problem. You just bring it back to the point in your body. So we're moving on to your fourth toe now. Feeling the tightness and tension in your fourth toe. on your nail, the inside and outside of your fourth toe, the space between your toes, where your fourth toe connects to your foot. Allowing this tension to come forward. Feeling it more intensely. And feeling this alchemical process of the tension letting go, of it being transformed. And when this happens, there's a healing that takes place. You become a little more whole. So the tension lets go into the earth, and you'll maybe begin to feel letting go in other parts of your body as well. Maybe another part of your foot, maybe in your hip bones, maybe your shoulders, maybe your head. The muscles of your feet map out your entire body. And then coming to your baby toes, feeling the tension and tightness in your baby toes. Noticing how they're scrunched up a little bit. Going into that retraction. And then feeling them let go. And then breathing into all 5 toes. Feeling them lengthened and spread out. A little less tense now. Breathing out and letting go a little bit more. And then moving into the ball of your foot. Feeling the tension through the ball of your foot, the density through the flesh, the muscle there, the bones. Allowing yourself to go right into this part of your foot. So no need to rush this at all. You can stay with bringing forward the tension first. Allow yourself to be with the tension coming forward. When you're really with the tension coming forward in your foot, then you can notice that by being with the tension begins to let go. So know that you have infinite time and no ambition to get to the letting go. The letting go will begin to happen all on its own by being present with the tension itself. And then follow that tension as it releases. It may not let go all at once. It may begin to let go very gradually. And when it lets go, it may reveal another layer of tension, which is fine. This is a lifelong process. One layer of tension will let go, another layer of tension will reveal itself, and on it goes. And then coming into the arch of your foot, feeling the tension at the front of the arch, the middle of the arch, the back of the arch, the inside of the arch of your foot, and the outside of the arch of your foot. Notice where it feels most strong. And then feel the tension dissolve down and into the ground. Coming into your heels. Feel the density and the tightness in the heels. And again, give yourself the luxury of time. You've given yourself the most precious gift here by coming to your mat tonight or today and giving yourself your most precious asset, your time. So know that there's no need to rush any of this, that you can be present with the tension in your heel for as long as you need to be. Feeling the tension in your heel, and then as you really feel that tension in your heel, you'll notice it begins to flow down into the earth like a river. And then feeling the tension in your Achilles tendon. Allowing that to dissolve down through the back of your heel and into the earth. And then feeling your whole foot on the ground, the whole sole of your foot, the interior of your foot, the bones, the muscles, the tissues. Breathing into your whole foot, allowing any remaining tension to come forward. And as you breathe out, allow that to sink down through the earth and into the ground. So feeling this downward flow of energy through your feet and into the ground, and then coming into your ankles, ankle bones on the outside, ankle bones on the inside, the interior of your ankles, becoming aware of tension in the ankles that you might not have been aware of before, and allowing this tension to flow down through your ankles, through your feet, and into the earth. And then feeling the tightness and density of your calf muscles at the back of your lower leg. Allowing yourself to go into the density, into the tightness. And then feeling that flow down through your ankles, through your feet, and into the earth. And then becoming aware of the shin bones at the front and the tightness around the shin bones and the muscles around the shin bones at the front of your legs. Allow yourself to drop right into this part of your body. And let this tension come forward. Feeling the tension on the insides of your lower legs and the outsides of your lower legs. And then allowing that tension to dissolve and feeling that downward flow through your lower legs, through your feet and into the ground. Becoming aware of your knees, your kneecap, the insides of your knees, the outsides of your knees, the backs of your knees. Feeling the tightness, feeling the holding on. Knowing that you don't need to hold on anymore. You can give yourself permission to let go. You can let go of tension. You can let go of the exhaustion. You can let go of the holding on. And you can allow yourself to be held by the earth underneath you. And as you do so, you start to feel this flow of energy between yourself and the earth. You let go of tension, and then there is this flow of energy between yourself and the earth as you come into right relationship. So now your whole lower leg is relaxed from your knees down to through your calves, through your feet and into the earth. You can feel that letting go, that softness, that dissolving. And then you come to your buttocks, the connection to the earth with your buttocks. And feel where your buttocks contacts the earth. And allow yourself to settle into that connection even more. So again, knowing that you don't need to hold on, that you can allow yourself to relax into this support underneath you. So let yourself settle, feel the connection between your buttocks and the earth deepen. And as you do so, you may begin to feel your pelvis softening, your whole pelvic bowl softening, the bones of your pelvis softening. You may feel some tension around the muscles and skin around your pelvis. You can go into that tension. Allow it to soften and release and let go. Feel the holding on at your sacrum. You may even feel it slightly lifted off the ground. Your sacrum, your tailbone. Allow the edges of your sacrum and your tailbone to be soft, to release into the ground. And feel how the front of your pelvis softens and opens as well. Feeling the tops of your upper legs, your quads. Feel the tension, feel the holding on. Feel the density, feel the mass. And then feel by just going into this part of the body, how they begin to dissolve and release and let go. And then come around to the backs of your upper legs, feeling your hamstrings, the tightness there, the band of tension along the backs of your upper legs. Allow this to soften and relax. And then coming into your inner thighs, feeling the tightness and tension in your inner thighs. All the way down and into your groin. Allow there to be space between your teeth. Allow your tongue to float in your mouth. Let your buttocks be soft. As your inner thighs soften and melt, let your attention come right up into your pelvic floor. Go into your perineum and your genitals, your anus. Feel the holding, feel the tension there. And with your breath, allow this part of your anatomy, allow your pelvic floor to soften, to release, to let go. Feel your lower belly, the wall of your pelvis, the skin stretching along the front of your pelvis. Feel the tightness, feel the tautness there. Breathe into it. And on your breath out, allow it to relax and soften. So now your whole body is relaxing from your pelvis, your legs, your feet, and into the ground. And then bringing your awareness to your mid-back, beneath your sternum, the lower part of your breastbone, your lower ribs. Feel your lower ribs resting on the ground. And feel the tension in your organs around your liver, your small and large intestines. Allow these organs to soften, release, sink into the ground. Become aware of your shoulder blades at the back of your body. Feel the tension in your shoulder blades. And allow it to dissolve down into the ground beneath you. Feel the organs in your rib cage, your lungs, your stomach, your heart, your kidneys. Feel all the soft, fleshy parts that are protected by your ribs, that are stored in your torso. Feel the tightness, feel the holding on. Know that you don't need to hold on anymore. And as you breathe out, allow these to all soften and release towards the ground. Feel your elbows heavy on the ground. Come into your shoulders. Feel the tightness in your shoulders. And as you breathe out, allow the tension from your shoulders to slide down through your upper arms and through your elbows into the earth. And then feel the tension in your fingers, your palms, your hands, your thumbs, your wrists, your forearms. And let this tension travel down through your upper arms, through your elbows, and into the earth. So now your whole body is relaxing. As you breathe in, feel any tension in your body. And as you breathe out, let that tension travel out of your body and into the earth. And then coming to your head. Feel the tension in your head. Allow the tension to flow out of your head and into the earth. Tension in your nasal cavity. Tension in your ear canals. Tension in your brain. Tension at the root of your tongue. Tension in your skin and your scalp. Allow all of this to dissolve out of your head and into the earth beneath you. Feel your whole body relaxing on the floor, on the earth underneath you, your 2 feet, your buttocks, your mid-back, your shoulders, and your head. Breathing into your whole body. Feeling any tension coming up in your body. And as you breathe out, follow that tension down and into the ground a little ways. So you'll breathe into your body. Some new level of tension somewhere in your body will surface, and as you breathe out, you'll follow that tension down into the earth underneath you, maybe a few inches, maybe a few feet. Just begin to follow that tension down into the earth beneath you. And do this a few times. And notice how completely relaxed your body is. And the next time you follow your attention into the earth underneath you, allow your awareness to stay in the earth underneath you, wherever your attention has traveled to. Stay in the earth underneath you. Allow your awareness to stay in the earth underneath you, your body resting on the earth above you. Your awareness is at that point in the earth underneath you to where your tension dropped. And then allow yourself to be at that point in the earth underneath you and let yourself open and drop a little bit more into the earth underneath you. Notice where your awareness stops in the earth underneath you. Let yourself be there. And then let your awareness open and drop a little bit more. And just let yourself keep opening and dropping underneath you. Opening and dropping your awareness into the earth underneath you. And when you notice some kind of barrier, you just notice yourself stopping there. You pause and you allow yourself to open a little bit more. And at a certain point of opening and dropping, you may notice a feeling tone that you meet, a feeling of longing, a feeling of peace and contentment, and a feeling to meet this peace and contentment, a feeling of wanting to connect with this warmth. And you can allow yourself to open and descend and to meet this warmth. And allow this warmth, this peace, this equanimity to rise up to your body. Keep opening, keep dropping. When you meet a roadblock, you just come to it and you open further. Drawing the warmth and the peace up to your body. Okay, so set the intention to stay very much connected to your body. And take this feeling of warmth and peace with you as you slowly start to make your way back up to seated. Okay. So we did a little bit of opening to the earth underneath us and drawing up the warmth of the earth into our body at the end there to just give you a little bit of a taste of it. So this is your time to be able to speak about your experience, to be able to ask questions about this experience or your practice in general. So you can feel free to do so, but you're by no means obligated to do so either. Go ahead, Michelle.
I felt that descending feeling really early on in the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been having that for probably over the last month or so, but it sort of comes and goes. For the last few days I've been having it. And yeah, I felt that very early on. And it I'm trying to make sense of this. What it feels like is it does feel like you're being called down into the earth, and I feel very present, but I also feel like I'm just an impression of myself. I guess it's the blurring of boundaries between this solid form and when we got to the later part of the meditation, when you're actually guiding us to go, I was like, no. Yeah, okay, no. Yeah. And another really positive thing was that I came into the meditation feeling a bit crampy, and my cramps have gone. So that's nice. I feel very relaxed and calm. And that's it.
So everything you describe sounds very normal. Like, this can be a very edgy practice. Like everything, no, no, no. It's like very normal. I've heard many people describe it that way.
Yeah, I think for me there's a little bit of a fear element to it.
Mm-hmm.
At times I felt like if I descend down, am I going to come back up?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so vast, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. And I think it's a big part, I think there's a big part of it too, is the letting go of ego too, that happens, right? The physical form gets left on the surface and the awareness goes down, which is big too, right? That's pretty trippy too.
The practice today was really deep, and what I particularly liked about the practice today was the peace and warmth sensation that I sort of felt. That was the experience that I've been having off the mat this week as well as on the mat, that when I was sort of dropping down and descending, like a bit like Michelle, I felt like I was on a rope and I'd go a little stop, go on a stop, but I sort of felt like a warm pulsing energy coming up from the earth through my body. And sometimes when I was just standing, I could sort of feel that, and I wasn't really sure what that was. So today,
I lost her. Back
out again.
Yeah. Okay, we got you the part about feeling it when you're standing, and then you said so today.
Okay, so you didn't get much.
Yeah.
So today when I was like lying down and we were sort of doing the descending, you talked about that, the warmth and the peace coming up. So that was the sort of energies that I was feeling during the week that I couldn't really put a name on. So today, when you talked about the peace and the warmth, I felt more able to let go and trust and fall into that. So that was nice. And then yes, bits as well, like felt like as if it was just like in a hammock rather than like lying on the floor. At one point the floor just sort of disappeared, and I just feel like my that body part, and feel like as if it was like an avalanche and like sheets of ice were just falling off of that body part. So that was really interesting, the being able to go so deep and feel like the body wasn't there, but then coming back into a body part, feeling quite sleepy but alert as well. And at times it was as if the awareness had like split like stardust, so there was awareness on like different levels. It was like parts were still over here, a part was in the body, a part was in the ground. So it was quite scattered today between the two extremities of the layers of the depths. Yeah. And I was really, really cold when I woke up, well, came back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing about the descent, right? Is that it can be quite disorienting until you establish a ground in it. We're just not used to it.
And as well, at one point, I did actually open my eyes because I could feel, I'm in a room where there's no draft, but I could feel like a breeze and a wind over my face. And I opened my eyes to check, I thought, oh, maybe my husband, maybe someone's come in, but there was no one here and the cat was still sleeping. And then, I just thought, oh, well, it's just an energy sensation. So I just, I closed my eyes again and just I went back with, what you were saying,
And it can be helpful to open your eyes to orient yourself again, too. We talk about being within that comfort range, too. Sometimes, like I find in my own practice, it can be helpful just to open my eyes. It can even help me to just even create that sense of safety to be able to drop again.
Yeah. And what really surprised me was, even although I opened my eyes, I thought, oh, I won't get back to that level.
Yeah.
But the minute I closed my eyes again, I was exactly back where I had left.
Yeah.
And that was really surprising, to go from that, opening your eyes, feeling alert, back to where you were, and then drop back to that deeper level that with maybe other meditation methods, if you break on the way down, you have to start again type of thing.
Yeah. You can do this practice eyes open or eyes closed.
Yeah.
I know we can, and we'll start exploring this more in the new year, but I mean, we can, this practice, like the embodied meditation, the letting go of tension, it can be and should be done seated as well, right? And with eyes open or eyes closed, right? And that's part of, like, right now we're just really letting go of layers of tension in the body. This is part of like coming into the world, right? Being able to do it seated as well. Yeah.
I've kind of been playing with that.
Yeah. Good.
Not on purpose, just I find myself doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again. Seated in a chair or seated in a meditation cushion?
Either. Whatever you would do your seated meditation in. If you would normally do it in a chair, you can do it seated in a chair, or you can sit on a cushion, however you would normally do your seated practice.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Do you generally we'd start lying down first to let go of that, because I mean, nothing beats that, letting go of the tension first, right?
Right.
But you're like, this is the position we take all day long in our lives, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to practice that as well.
For me today, I had a little bit of a hard time letting go, especially at first. But at the end, it's a little bit like what Emery was saying. Like, I could feel like vibrations coming out of the earth or around me. It was kind of like jarring a little bit, but yeah, pretty interesting.
So when we think about descending into the earth, okay, when my teacher, he always has a whiteboard. When he draws earth descent, he doesn't draw it like, he draws it like, so you're not just opening, you're opening. So sometimes I can have this experience of an earth descent where it's like the opening feels like my greatest point of access feels like it's out in front of me, not necessarily, because you're like, we're creating a connection with all it is, right? Not, so we are going down, but think open, right? So that's why you guys are feeling this as well as this. It's not just
like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Michelle.
At the beginning of the meditation, when I was going there, that's how it felt like, and that's how it's felt like previously, is this the all around expansiveness. Yeah. But when you were guiding us, I had a really strong visual of being nestled in leaf litter, like I was composting.
Yeah.
But that one felt more like a downward, whereas before it's felt more all around.
Yeah.
That was really interesting today. I had when we started the descent, like at first I was a little bit resistant because I felt this wind or energies around my face. And then it was like I just got these image of leaves, and as if I was just underneath the leaves, and it was like I was still safe because in my mind I could see the ground, there was the leaves, and I was just there. And then just then after that slowly started to and I got these really random images of like the Mad Hatter and Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he's running around in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in the rabbit hole. And I'm like, no, just forget everything. And yes, this little Mad Hatter kept popping around. He was quite funny. Yeah. But that was interesting, the leaves as well. To have that.
I felt a real connection tonight, just near the end, with my breath against the ground. I don't know that I really felt kind of a descent of any kind, but near the end, I also think I fell asleep probably 15 times tonight, just
Mhm.
really in and out, in and out, in and out. But near the end, I really felt my breath in my back against the ground, and it was really a nice, it was like a ebbing, flowing kind of a feeling that was quite gentle and peaceful. And I can still feel it now. I still feel like I'm connected, like I'm still laying on my back, feeling my breath. So that's I don't know, it's a nice, gentle kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have all paused.
I'm I was just thinking about how, you know, the kind of the first few times I practiced earth descent and kind of felt some experience of it, the way I would feel embodied after it. And it's kind of the way you're describing kind of a similar experience of it, or, you know, the way I would feel my feet on the ground after, you know, pay attention to those things as you move on after this. It's kind of interesting. So just the way you're describing that connection sustains itself, I think is interesting. Yeah. I think we're not pausing because your answer was weird or anything, because I think we're relating to your experience probably.
I thought it was my connection because everybody like froze, so I couldn't hear anything.
Lindsay and I had the most interesting conversation about reflecting on when we speak, when we don't speak, why we speak, what we speak about, what we don't speak about in meditation class over breakfast. It was very revealing.
Was it recorded?
We should have recorded it. You would have been able to hear it in a loud restaurant. But like, think about all the things that go through your head and what you choose to share versus what you share. Yeah, and it was a lot about how oftentimes we censor ourselves in order to keep the rest of the group safe. Yeah. That's what we talked about, which we realized at the end was kind of a ridiculous thing to do, that probably everybody else in the group was okay.
Well, for me, definitely different than last week, thankfully. My kids are all scattered and I could hear them. I thought there's no way I'm going to be able, I actually thought at one point I was going to have to shut down and go check on everybody. Opened my eyes a couple of times as I saw Peyton pass through my bedroom into my bathroom, so for his bath time. And I wasn't too distracted by it. He was nice and respectful and quiet. I appreciate that. So I could just kind of drop right back in when I did feel like I needed to open my eyes to check for just a second. What's really standing out for me is that at one point as I was sinking, and I sank through the pelvic area, I actually felt like I was being grabbed by the earth. Just there, just in the pelvic area, I just felt like it was just like hands on bringing me down, but nowhere else. I felt myself sinking and resting every place else. It was odd. I mean, it was a very odd sensation. And then I just had the visual way, I can't talk tonight, the visual of a tree. I mean, just like it's winter here. We have no leaves on our tree, but this was a tree that would have been like I would have drawn when I was 6. You know, you got your base and then you got the fluffy. That's what I saw, and it was in color. So I had the brown and the. So I'm guessing that somewhere there's a childhood memory getting ready to start. It was pretty cool because I've not seen those trees probably since when he was 6. For 5 years, I've not seen that kind of tree in a while. So it was it was pretty cool. I had some tension, cramping, and then neck tension that have also not gone away completely, but have definitely subsided. So that's always good.
Mhm. Excellent. Well, I brought up Earth Descent. We talked about it, and I didn't die.
I'm proud of you.
Oh my God. It's like, what would be your scariest pose to teach, Nicole?
My scariest pose. It's got to be like revolve triangle or something that's going to take my back away. I've not quite figured out where do I need to start so I can continue facing my students.
Yeah, so it's like the revolved triangle pose.
Yes, anything revolved.
Anything revolved, yeah, I would agree with that. I avoid those two probably. Yeah. Yeah, and you guys kept bringing it up. I'm like, God damn it. Do you have to? Would you keep going there?
Your hand.
Pardon?
We forced your hand.
You did force it.
It grew organically.
It did. I was like, oh God, they're just not going to stop it, are they? So that's it. And it was, it was like, see how the experience of it is. It's very trippy. It's very up and down. It's very, like, how did you describe it? I'm not sure. Michelle, you said like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, or like, when I first encountered it and I was doing all the practices and I went to my teacher and I was like, there's just this one. And he says, earth breathing, right? Yeah. And he said, I knew you were going to say that. So it's no surprise. So it's funny you guys are all going there, and then it's one that pretty much everybody just like, it's a big thing. It just becomes this big thing because it's, I don't know, it's so vast or something. And there's so many kind of experiences, right? Like the Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter. There's so many things that we lay over on top of it. And so I think like my teacher is just so brilliant the way he teaches it. He just makes it like this no big deal thing. And we just, breathe and down we go and open up. And so I think because it hasn't really been a big deal, you've been going there. So we'll just keep doing that. Just don't worry about it. Just let it be as it is. Okay?
Good.
Yeah, just don't fuss about it.
I'm just thinking it's a very, to me it feels like a very feminine kind of a practice.
Yeah.
So just thinking about that helps. It's not, it's going to go in a round and over here. It's not going to be.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, any other questions before we close up for today? Alrighty, then I will see you all in the forum, on the forum, and next week. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your presence at such a busy time of year.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thanks, everyone.
Namaste.
Bye.